That's my dad.
So, Keish, what's going on?
Nothing was good.
I'm glad you could, make it out to the platform, sit down and have a conversation with me. I'm really looking forward to this.
I'm glad to be invited.
That's
Thank
what's
you.
up. That's what's up. And so before we actually get started, I wanted to take a moment just to give you your flowers.
Oh, okay.
Because, when I was ripping and running, in the streets, you had the right perfect mixture of, tough love. You provided shelter for me during those times. And, you really didn't, you didn't enable me. You know what I mean? You had some tough conversations. And one such conversation that I do remember, if it was when the police, I don't know if you remember this, you probably do. They ran up in the parking lot. You came out and they told you, get back in the house and all that. And, they was very angry. But,
Yeah.
after that situation, you pulled me to the side and you let me know it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And it was a tough realization that I had to come to grips with that, I don't make a good criminal. And so, I really do appreciate you for that. And, I don't think a brother could have a much better sister. And I really do appreciate you for that.
Thank you. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the man you've become. You turned it all around.
Thank you. I really do
Good
appreciate
dad,
that.
good dude, good brother.
Yeah. I learned it by watching you.
No.
Because you've always been, a loving mother, very, very supportive. And I just appreciate you. And I just wanted to let you know that. So,
Oh, I thank you.
with all of the mushy stuff out of the way,
All right.
we're going to begin.
All right.
So, a lot of my peers, they didn't even know that I had as many sisters and brothers as I do. And so I'm not sure if it was like that on your side or not, but could you speak to that about, having sisters and brothers who are not necessarily around you and growing up in the same house?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I could tell you one, I was very envious
Okay.
of it because I felt like you had a full support team.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You had people who wanted kids who couldn't have them.
Yes.
And so
1000%.
Adults, parents like that, they appreciate the kids
Yeah.
a little bit more. But it wasn't just you. That's what kind of invisible I was too.
Yeah.
When Rashida went to church, things like that, they didn't know we existed.
Yeah. And I always thought about that,
never
as a
really existed.
youngin' coming up, what are my sisters doing? What are my brothers doing? And it was a very, very interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So I guess to paint the picture a little bit, our mom, she has two daughters, with you being the oldest. Next comes big brother Jamil. Then shortly after that comes me. And then finally we have the baby sister Rashida. And so if you had to say anything about your relationship with the individual siblings, how could you sum that up now that we're all grown and off in our own lives?
Okay, so I feel like we're all a lot closer
Yeah.
than we were. But Rashida and I are the closest because we're the two girls. Of course, we're tight. And then how I see it, I see it as Rashida and me being close, you and Rashida being close, and then you and Jamil being close. I feel like of all the siblings, I'm the one that the males don't really gravitate to. I guess because I'm so hard on y'all, or I was so hard on y'all.
I wouldn't say that at all.
I just kind of feel like I'm just like the big sister, but I'm not like the favorite sister.
Nah, I wouldn't say that at all.
No,
Because
that's just how it feels, though.
I'm here to let you know and to reaffirm and to reassure you that I just gave you like a several minute speech before we even just started this off.
I understand that, but you asked me how I felt.
Okay. Touche.
I'm giving you my honest response.
Touche.
That's how I felt. That's not how I feel now.
Okay.
But going, before we started like really spending time as siblings and like really.
And so what I will say is that growing up not in the same household, but then having Rashida come to my high school, I think that may be where that bond kind of was created because, she would follow me around and all of the teachers, like from Mr. Will, rest in peace, to, other teachers in that school, they would be like, look, you know Joe is kind of smart up in here now, so you got to do your thing. And she used to always tell me that. And so, Rashida, she was definitely my little shadow at that time.
Yeah, she hero worships both of us. she always hero worship me. I kind of think secretly she still don't tell her that, though.
Okay, yeah, well, she might see this along with, all of our viewers. Hey, sis. So I do want to get into a little bit about, your school. How was your relationship with school early on?
So in the beginning, some biblical. In the beginning, no, I was good from, I want to say kindergarten, first, second, third, all the way up to maybe 7th grade. I was good.
Okay.
8th grade, some personal things started affecting me.
Okay.
And so that's when I started kind of like not losing interest, but falling.
Yeah,
falling behind and
yes.
not focused and, hiding my homework.
Okay.
Not really wanting to do anything school-wise.
Yes.
High school, I got it back together in 9th grade.
Okay.
10th, 11th, I got into boys.
Yeah.
12th grade, it was another shift, a personal shift.
Yes.
I don't know if you know, but I got pregnant then.
Okay.
I lost that baby though.
Okay.
And from that point until about 3 years later, it was kind of hard.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of hard for me. But what a lot of people don't know is that at that point, I dropped out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
Yeah.
But 3 years later, I snapped out of my stupor.
Okay.
I enrolled in evening high school for adults at Westside High School.
Okay.
And I
I'm
got my
definitely
diploma.
familiar with that. That's awesome.
And I got my diploma. Went to hair school. That was my career for a little bit.
And so I'm gonna cut you right there.
Go ahead.
Because I definitely was interested in those details, but I do want to rewind a little bit before because you were having issues started off into your high school, but originally when you first started high school, you were going to the original Central High School before, and now it's down there in between 18th Avenue. Right up there in between Fairview and Livingston Home, shout out L Block,
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, these kids these days and age, they looking at Central like Central used to be where? But
that definitely is not the Central High School that I went to for that.
It definitely looks, the building itself looks 10,000 times better. But how was, you getting into high school, transitioning from an elementary school, student?
It was scary.
It was scary?
Yeah, I wasn't popular. Okay. I didn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe of all the kids that went to 18th Avenue, about 3 or 4 of them went to Central.
Oh.
But they were were in a different crowd.
Oh, okay. Because I thought at that time most of the people. Oh, so you're right. So most of the people from 18th Avenue, they went on to Shabazz.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not too many of them went to Central, so I was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
I was dealing with low self-esteem.
Yeah, going to school with people you didn't grow up with.
Yeah.
And, you got to fit in the crowd and make your own new friends. Yeah, that must have been rough.
Central, that was a rough crew.
Yeah.
When I went, because it was Howard Street Projects.
Okay.
Half of Prince.
Okay.
Summer Hayes Homes.
Okay.
And Baxter Terrace, is that what that is
Oh,
over
yeah,
there?
BT, yeah.
That it was kind of like a rough grouping.
Yeah, so I can imagine, fights off the hook all the time.
Which is eventually what led me to be transferred and sent to East Orange High.
And so I wanted to get into that transition because at some point in time in your high school career, you went to live with grandma and dad.
Yeah.
And so that must have been, a culture shock of, leaving Central, going to East Orange. And I'm not going to say that East Orange wasn't rough, but compared to being in Central, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, it probably wasn't the same level of aggression in that school when you got there?
It wasn't. I was happy there.
Yeah.
I was happy, number one. I grew up on William Street. I grew up in both places, Livingston Homes and William Street.
Back and forth.
So I was familiar with all of the people on that block.
Oh,
from
so you
Aunt
weren't
Chris and
starting
Sherry.
over when you got
No,
into
it wasn't
school.
like I was starting over because Chris was there, Aunt Chris.
Okay.
She's only 3 years older than me.
1000%.
I was a freshman, she was a senior.
Okay.
So I knew all of her friends.
Yeah.
So they kind of like adopted
Embraced
me
you,
in,
yeah, they
embraced
embraced
me.
you, yeah.
So, but I was much happier at East Orange High than I was at Central, and I was much happier living on William Street
Okay.
than I was in Livingston Homes
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
So
Yeah, see, that is a blessing because, you know, when a child is not really happy inside, I have to imagine that, you know, productivity and production in school can't be, you know, one of the things that they're thinking about and, you know, really excelling at. So I guess that change of environment was good in some ways.
yeah, it was. That was my happy place growing up. I loved being in East Orange on William Street.
Yeah.
And a few times you came through.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like we were all together running, tearing up the house.
Yeah.
And then secretly though, I do remember it just brought back a memory. Like you were there one day and you were like, where's Willie? Where's Will? You know, you were so worried that they weren't going to come back.
They wasn't
and get
coming
you,
back.
You know? And I was like, dang, he don't like us no more. The whole time he was like, when's Willie coming back? When's Willie coming back? Is Hattie coming? Is Hattie coming?
Oh,
and I was like, well, dang. Like,
little bro don't love me
yeah,
anymore.
but I had to be about what? Maybe 10, 11?
Okay. Oh, so at that point in time, I had to be a little snot-nosed little punk at that point in time.
Yeah. You was a little uppity, you know.
And so
became a little bougie.
And, you know, that part is kind of funny because I do remember there were times where I had to go back down, you know, with moms for the weekend or maybe a couple of weeks in the summertime here. And the crazy part is, I just know I had this one memory, like, I didn't really like going because we ain't had no cable when I went down the hill to mom's house.
What?
That was one of my little memories, but yeah, that was crazy. And so living in that house must have also been exciting from the standpoint of that was kind of like the gathering place with uncles, aunts, you know, cousins, you know, Rashawn coming in and out. Like you said, Chris was staying there. Was Aunt Sharon still there at that point in time?
They were all
Oh, so they were all in high
school or just out of high school.
Okay, and so at that point in time, you kind of developed more of a sibling rivalry relationship kind of with your aunts?
I was just about to say that while I was happy there, that was my preferred place.
Yes.
So I was much happier there
than
I was back on Livingston Street.
Okay.
But that home had its challenges as well.
Yeah.
I felt like my aunts saw me as competition. You know what I mean? Because they were still young.
1,000%, yeah.
And so now I'm taking the attention from them.
Okay.
You know, Dad, I was his first grand. He was proud of me.
Yes.
He always used to brag on me because I was the first grand and I'm smart. So
1,000%.
They used to feel some type of way about it. And I would say, I don't want to put nobody on the spot. I'm not going to say nothing, no names, but one of them, and I'm pretty sure you can imagine who it was, made my life.
Made it a little rough for you.
Made it intentionally. You know, made it uncomfortable for me.
And that's sad because, you know, a lot of times we think of family and kids. You know, kids do intentionally do things to other kids, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we are family and you would hope that they would see you as that and, you know, just be a little nicer. And maybe from their standpoint, they probably thought as though it was just the rite of passage, the regular rituals that kids just being kids. But a person who's going through it doesn't necessarily see it like that, though, when it's happening to them.
Let me just state for the record, that person has done a 360 as well.
Okay.
That's not their personality anymore. And it's, you know, they kind of surprise me with the level of support that they give me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that just goes to show you that everybody grows up and matures at some point in their lives.
At some point in time.
It just takes some of us longer to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely true right there. And so I guess around 98-ish was when you got pregnant for the second time?
That was the first time.
Oh, that was the first time. Yeah. And so, okay.
Oh, no, second time, Tunisia.
So that was, that was when my niece was born, 98. Okay. And
1998. Oh, did I play that picket?
So you had graduated from high school at that point in time?
I was 25.
You was 25 years?
24, 25,
yeah. And so, like, around that time, what had you been doing for work? I heard you mention hair doing.
Yeah, I was working in the salon.
Okay.
I was working in the salon, but when I had her, it became a little bit more difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Because she was a baby and, you know, finding a babysitter.
Drop-offs,
working in the salon is
you
don't really have a set time.
It's time intense.
So it's kind of hard to pinpoint a time and have a babysitter on standby that's willing to deal with those late hours. Sometimes I got home like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so that kind of slowed down the process. I stopped doing hair in the salon and started doing it in the house.
Okay.
And then I made the transition to not doing hair anymore to working in the school.
Okay.
And that was because of Tanasia.
Okay.
Number one, I didn't want her to be a shop baby. You know what I mean by that?
Exactly.
Growing up in a hair salon, you know, spending all her days, all her weekends in a hair
Not
salon.
really interacting with other children.
With other kids,
and,
being amongst a bunch of adults in the salon all day long. So when she started 18th Avenue, they had volunteer like school moms.
Okay.
And so I started doing that and ended up getting a position there because I was there all the time. The principal offered me a position. They have like per diem aides.
Okay.
So I was a one-to-one aide, which is how I got started working in education.
Yeah.
And I started that. I was there at school every day, peeking in the class on her, and I started to see things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was a good thing.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like now, Javen and Jordan come home and they tell you things, right?
Yeah.
And you question it because you can't really picture
Yeah.
how it is. But I had the inside view.
So you were able to
So
look
I was
in.
able to see things differently.
Yes.
And it made me want to make a change
Okay.
in what I was seeing
Yeah.
in the school.
Okay. So was that your first realization into, because up to that point you was like a power professional in the schools, and so at that point in time was it like, okay, I want to contribute and change and be better for these children in these neighborhoods?
I saw it from two perspectives, though.
Okay.
I saw it from the teacher's perspective, and then I saw it from a parent's perspective.
Okay.
You know, when your kid comes home and tell you, oh, the teacher yelled at me,
Yes.
you're not thinking, okay, what did you do? You're like, wait, what do you mean yelled at me? They shouldn't be yelling at you. But then now, that's the parent part of it.
Yeah.
Me working in the school, I get to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I know some of them
Kids don't tell the whole
boy.
story.
Yeah.
They come home and they tell you, Mommy, Miss Smith yelled at me, but they don't tell you the story before Miss Smith had to kind of raise her voice and yell. She told you 13 times to stop doing this. You know, you're touching this kid, you're hitting that kid, you're pushing, you're doing this, you're doing that. And sometimes you do have to raise your voice.
Yeah.
And so it gave me a better insight
Okay.
on the relationship between mother and daughter and
Yes.
teacher and student.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, 1,000%.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
And so, as you were on your journey, because it's a big, how can I say it? It's a big challenge to want to go back to school in order to get the credentials to be a teacher. And also, you know, while being a single mom and, you know, having the rent needs to be due, ShopRite, these groceries, they not getting any cheaper. And so how did you balance that with, like, you know, getting your education, getting your degree, and also, you know, keeping your eyes on the prize with also, you know, some of like your medical issues that you had going on?
I was just about to say, so, you know, from 12, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Okay.
And so for a long time, I was getting SSI because I couldn't work.
Okay.
It was like, you saw, I was in the hospital
Yeah.
often,
Yes.
2-3 times a month.
Yeah.
It was like that for years. And it sent me kind of into a depression.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I was depressed for a long time. It wasn't until, I want to say, what did jog me into? I guess Tanasia got older.
Okay.
And I was dealing with what I was dealing with her. And I just made a decision. My health improved. I wasn't getting SSI anymore.
Okay.
My disease was kind of like in control.
Yes.
And I was able to go back to school. Now, it took me, my undergrad, I'm going to say this on camera, took me 10 years.
10 years.
10 years to finish, but that's because I was in and out the hospital.
Yes.
I would start, I would stop. I would start, I would stop. I would take 2 classes, pass, stop. I would start a class, get halfway through, have these flares, get depressed, stop.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was an emotional,
I know it must have been an
emotional
emotional
journey.
roller coaster. Yeah.
it was an emotional journey. That was one of the, going to school, finishing my degree was one of the hardest things
And I know
that I've ever done.
It was one of the hardest things, and not to cut you off, but it also must have been one of the most rewarding things when you actually got, your diploma and your certificate. And
it was very rewarding. But you know me, I'm an overthinker. Mm-hmm. And instead of allowing myself, and I'm admitting this, I'm just going to be candid.
Okay.
Instead of allowing myself to bask in that moment,
yes,
I let other people steal it from me.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With their negativity comments.
And,
she's been this way for so long. She can't work with kids. She's mean. She's this. She's that. Like, I let all of that stuff get in my head. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't able to celebrate the moment the way I wanted to, or the way I should have.
Yeah. You weren't able to embrace it and acknowledge it and just really realize that even as you're saying it, 10 years is a long time to commit to anything. With those starts, with those stops, but you pushed through and you were able to complete it.
A lot of tears.
That is such an amazing task. Yeah.
A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of tears, a lot of self-doubt.
Okay.
A lot of insecurities, a lot of, going back and forth. Should I? What's the point? Mm-hmm. You got this. Yes. Should I? What's the point? We gonna do this? Should I? What's the point?
Exactly.
It was like back and forth. But I feel like at one moment, Tanisha had a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Because she had started messing up. Mm-hmm. And I actually made a deal with her.
Yeah.
It's another thing people don't know. I made a deal with her. The deal was if I graduated from college, she had to graduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how incentive.
That was my way of trying to lead by example. Mm-hmm. Because she and I had it rough.
Yeah.
And I just sat down and I thought about it one day. Like, there was a quote that people often quote, "Be the change you want to see." Mm. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish college. I'm going to get my degree. And then I'm going to show her it's doable even at my age.
1,000%.
And so that was she was one of my main motivations for actually starting and finishing. So when I started at that point, I went straight through. I didn't stop.
Okay.
And then I got my degree.
That was dope. Yeah. And so when you got your degree and you officially came on with the teaching role, what system were you in? Were you in the Newark system or were you in like East Orange? So you were in East Orange.
I started out in Newark and finished in that.
Okay, so you started,
I started out.
So you started off teaching in Newark, and then when you finished and you finally got your degree, you were in East Orange. And so I can think back to when you started from Central and then you went to East Orange, how there was a culture shift. But now this time when you were on the teaching side of it, how was that transition for you?
It was destined.
Yeah.
Like, that was an easy transition.
Oh, it was very easy at that point.
Yeah, and I had a lot of coworkers that supported that.
Okay.
When I was a teacher assistant, I've been in East Orange for 18 years.
Okay.
And for a lot of that time, I was a para and then I was a TA.
Okay.
And the teacher, I don't want to say her name without permission, but there was one teacher that I worked with the longest.
Okay.
And she was like, "Why are you my TA?"
Yeah.
Like, why are you in this class as a TA? You need to go back to school and finish.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
She was like, "You got it."
So she lifted you up. She gave
but
you that.
Even then, I still stayed a TA for about 8 more years. Because like I said, even though I was working, I dealt with a lot of depression and self-doubt.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I smiled on the outside.
Inside.
But inside, I had a lot of hurt. I still do.
Yeah.
But I'm just better now with it because I'm, started seeking the right.
I mean, the journey with depression and, when I was younger, in our community, we really see it and I wouldn't say acknowledge it, but we kind of looked at it as that wasn't our thing. Mm-hmm. But, as I've gotten older and much wiser, I've realized that depression, from a lot of traumas is really rampant within the community.
Yeah, within our community, it's taboo to speak about.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was no therapy.
Exactly.
And I feel like it was trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, and it was just being passed down.
From generation to generation, and also even from a violence standpoint, they had people that go to war that's suffering from PTSD. But what about my man over there that's on 16th Ave that just saw his friend or several of his friends that he grew up with, they're no
Yep.
longer here. And
Yep.
so we have a lot of things that we're holding on. And I encourage everybody to go out there and speak to someone or try to get the help that they need, because, you know, we lost a lot of good people from self-transitioning. And yeah, it's important to stay strong out here from that front.
That's because people out here, they talking about the wrong things.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that in the community, mental health,
Yeah.
depression. I feel like if I had somebody supporting me in that aspect, I would have gotten help a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because now I see the potential
Yeah.
and all the wasted potential, the wasted
Yeah.
years, the wasted time. That's why I would encourage anybody.
Okay.
It's not just a white thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And white people, our white, what do I call them? Our other
Our other cousins or
inhabitants.
something. Yeah, they inhabit this world
our other
along with us.
inhabitants.
Yeah.
They go to therapy. They do what they need to
1000%.
do to be successful.
Yeah, because
But
that's
we
important.
worry about what other people think.
Thinking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We keep everything hidden.
It's like, in a lot of times, I feel like sometimes we tend to be worried about, like you said, the wrong things. We worried about how good we may look, what car we may drive, you know, as opposed to what's really going on upstairs. And that is an important piece.
Yeah, we worry about the wrong things.
And so I do want to kind of get back to, you know, after you got your degree and, you know, you were in the East Orange system. And so how was that transition from being a TA to getting your full-fledged classroom for the first time?
Well, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
But you know, I kept all of that internal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On the inside, I was just like bursting at the seams, but I didn't.
Exactly.
You know, I was being, you know, cool about it.
I know it must have been quite the achievement and accomplishment, but did you face some nervousness and angst about,
yes.
you know, being able to really lead these children and give them,
I told you I'm an overthinker.
Yes.
So in the back of my mind, I'm always second guessing myself. Am I doing enough?
Okay.
Am I good enough?
Yeah.
You know, do my peers accept me? So,
Okay.
you know, I'm still human. I still deal with that. But there was that self-doubt that creeped in. But I cut it off.
And so what are some of the things from back when you were in 18th Avenue and you were peeking into, you know, Nisi Poo's classroom, and some of the things that you wanted to change? What are some of the things that you internalized that you wanted to give to these students now that they were essentially in your hands and in your care?
So one thing is most of Tanasia's teachers in 18th Avenue were white.
Okay.
They don't have culture sensitivity. They don't understand us
Yes.
and how we do things, and how we are, the things we do, the things we say. And I noticed that.
That's very important.
I noticed that there's not enough sensitivity, cultural sensitivity,
Yes.
in education, and especially now with everybody with such diversity.
Yes. Yes.
Schools are so much more diverse than they are than they were back then. I had a student in my class that spoke. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember one student speaking in any school that I went to.
Yeah.
In elementary school, middle school, high school,
Yeah.
not one student there. I have students that speak.
Okay.
We have students that speak. I've seen Asians. With everything being so diverse, there's still not enough culture sensitivity in schools.
I could imagine that. And to your point about all of the nationalities and all of the diversity, I remember being in school, the majority of the ESL students, they were like Spanish though. It was like Spanish, Haitian.
And they put them all in one class.
All in one class. Exactly. But now, like you said, there are so many different cultures and you know, nationalities and ethnicities that are in these schools. How are they, I guess, trying to go about with inclusion and making everyone feel welcomed and everyone have a voice? How are they going about that?
So New Jersey has inclusion laws.
Okay.
Right? Everybody gets a fair education, access, equity. Still not getting it though. The student in my class that spoke, he's not there anymore. He transferred a couple months ago because there was an issue with getting him back and forth to school.
Okay.
But when he first got placed in my classroom, I went to my superiors like, okay, I have a kid that speaks.
Yes.
How can I help this kid?
Yeah.
They have
very
all these
little English?
They had no English.
No English. Oh, wow.
They have all these resources in Spanish and Creole. They have staff members that speak Creole and Spanish. No one that spoke. And so I thought that was kind of crazy because I'm like, even though this situation is unique, we should already have things in place.
Yes.
We don't.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of crazy. I was doing the research myself,
Okay.
looking online, trying to find ways to communicate with him without having to always pull out my
Google Translator.
Google Translator. His mother, she spoke English, limited English though, but she was more fluent in French.
Oh, okay.
Dad spoke complete. And so I even asked her, like, can you give me some pictures of things in Africa? Show him, to try to show him
that this means this.
in English, picture cards, communication
1000%.
cards. So I can say, look, whatever this is, cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show him the cup.
Yeah.
Say the word cup.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. They don't have, there's not enough diversity in what they had, not enough equity.
Okay.
In schools when it comes to students with diversity
And
and
so,
special needs.
By equity, we all think of homes and, but what do you actually mean for the listeners who may not know? What is equity in schools?
Having curriculums and
Okay.
having programs that include all students, general ed, special needs, having them all have equal access to learning materials, to education, for everybody to get the same quality education.
Yeah.
Regardless of what language they speak, what, special needs.
Okay.
Family, economy, all that.
Okay.
It's just everybody getting the same education.
Yeah.
Everybody getting what they need when they need it.
That's very, very interesting. And so how do you feel like you have been able to influence or affect the change that you want to see? Is that kind of like a super uphill battle, or is it like, do you feel like I'm really contributing and I'm gaining kind of some sort of leverage with your students?
So like I said, when it comes to certain cultures, the support is there.
Yeah.
For for Spanish speaking and Creole speaking kids, the support is there.
Okay.
It's for the other kids. I didn't realize this until the students entered into my classroom. And that's when I realized that it really is limited.
Yeah.
The resources are really
yes.
just pretty much limited to English, Spanish, Creole.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very limited.
And so I guess, is there something is it kind of like a budget issue that is like the limiting, or is it just that the people in charge, and not without, throwing anybody under the bus or anything, obviously, but from your estimation, what do you think is the reason that we're still so far behind with the inclusion with the other? Is it just the numbers? Like it's just not that many of them?
Yeah, it's just not common.
Okay.
For us to have kids that speak. But there are a lot of inclusion laws out here that focus on students with diverse needs of students.
Okay.
And students with special needs.
Yeah.
Just don't follow them.
All right. And so since you've gotten your first class, when was that? So we're in 2025 right now. When was it that you've gotten your first class?
21.
Okay. And so in your school where you currently teach at now, do you still see some of those students from your first classes? And how is that exchange with, seeing, kids that you taught and mentored throughout the years?
So I haven't seen them come back into the building that I'm in.
Okay.
But I do see them in passing.
Okay.
I see one, I work
yes.
And they come through there all the time. And it's like, I feel like I made a big impact because there's one little girl, she refuses to leave the store until she sees me, her grandmother said. And so that right there lets me know that I made an impact.
Yeah.
The first thing I say to them, do you want to come back to my class? They're like, yes, we want to be back in your class.
And that's amazing. There was a stat, and you may be able to help me with this. I'm flabbergasted right now that I don't have the exact numbers, but I feel like they say students, whether black or white, they're 13% more likely to go to college after having a black teacher. Can you speak to, did you have any black teachers, or can you speak to just what it means to be a black teacher in a system where, I don't know what the number or the ratio is, but I guess you might be outnumbered, I assume.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about the numbers in my building. We're the majority.
Oh, so you guys are the majority.
We're the majority. It depends
Okay.
on the district.
Okay, yeah.
It strictly depends on the district.
Yeah.
The higher up you go into the hills, the less you see of us.
Okay. And so I assume that in that district, according to the stat that I may have, mispronounced, I guess them guys, they'll let me know in the comments if I was totally wrong about that one. But according to those statistics, your students should be going on to have great careers and be in college and things of that nature.
I think so. But see, the thing is, right now I'm in pre-K. So
Okay.
I'm giving them foundations.
The foundation.
And
that's
foundations.
important.
But they still have a long way to go.
Long way to go, yes.
And they get to they are put in so many different hands. They start out in my hands, and then I put them in the kindergarten teacher's hands.
Okay.
Then the kindergarten teacher puts them in the first grade teacher's hands,
Exactly.
and so on and so on. And so it's like sometimes, depending on where you land in those other grades, you may get pushed
Taper
back a little
off
bit.
a little
You know what I mean?
bit,
You may
or-
get pushed back, or different things happen.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad I give them the foundation.
That's a beautiful blessing.
I give them the
I know it
foundations.
must be very challenging and rewarding at the same time, because I know, everybody knows, I have two boys. They with me and, my wife all the time. And
Shout out to Jamin and Jordan.
yeah, and it's a challenge, and it tests your patience, to be with them kids, to be on top of them. Can you speak to some of the challenges that you faced just with behavior, and what are some of your techniques? I think that this may be a long-winded question, but I think it goes back to your earlier statement about cultural sensitivity and how you may react to a child who may be, a little bit extra as opposed to how some of the other teachers may.
I'm actually dealing with that now.
Okay.
I have kids in my class with extreme behaviors, but it's your patience level.
Patience.
It's your patience level because you don't know what's going on at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes kids act out because of their home situation.
1000%.
You know what I mean? And they're little, but they don't recognize it. You know what I mean? Self-regulation, I don't know if you know about that, but self-regulation is what teaches kids to cope with their emotions and decision-making and all of that.
And that's important as they move forward and get older, because you won't have someone else to try to help you calm down or to help you get
it's
through
all
something.
about trying to teach them, helping them to self-regulate themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we focus on in my
That's what
class,
you kind of
self-regulation.
use, like the techniques to kind of And
They
so
can't regulate themselves, and it's harder for them to make good choices as they go on.
Exactly. And that part is definitely a foundational piece. But when you're speaking about like how you pass them on to the next grade and the next grade and the next grade, do you find that you're teaching, because, one time I heard that your teaching style has to change, because you can't give the same student
The same.
you can't give different students the same level of concentration or preparation.
Differentiation.
Yeah, you have to kind of split it up. And so how is that in the classroom when you may have a child who, they probably finish their work as soon as you give it to them, but then you may have another child who kind of needs a little bit more time and a little bit more attention, or even just some more self-regulation techniques to help them get through an assignment or something. So, is that?
You just got to give them what they need. You have to, know your students. You have to know their abilities.
Yeah.
And you can't help them if you don't know what they need or where they need the help.
Okay.
And so if I have a kid, that's finished first, usually let me tell you something that I've learned.
What's that?
Kids who are usually advanced and smart, they are the ones that are busybodies because they're bored.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be able to recognize what the issue is with the kid and why they are doing what they do.
Okay.
So if I have a kid that finishes their work super fast, you just got to have a plan in advance.
Something to allow them to do,
You know what I
maybe
mean? So
whether
you
it
just-
be
it's
coloring.
all in
or,
on your students.
Yeah.
It's all in on the kids.
Okay. And so that was very insightful. I do kind of want to transition to the health aspect. And so during your journey of being a teacher, many may not know, but you were diagnosed with cancer. It was lung cancer, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which is very shocking because for my whole natural life, my sister is not a smoker.
Never smoked.
You know,
Never.
but you were diagnosed with lung cancer. You battled through that and you were able to get through it and beat that. But can you speak to what that did to you mentally and physically?
That broke me down.
Being a teacher also?
That broke me down. It was just like, I never smoked.
Yeah,
I'm not around secondhand smoke. You can't even smoke in my apartment.
exactly.
And it was just like a shock. Like, why in the world
Yeah,
am I being even like considered? Like, why are they even saying the word lung cancer in
To
my
me.
presence?
yeah.
That was scary. That was scary. And I'll be lying if I say it didn't like kind of push me back.
Yeah,
You know what I
into a
mean?
dark space.
Back into a dark place. And if I'm being honest, I've never really fully recovered from it.
Okay.
That was traumatizing.
Yeah.
That was traumatizing. It was painful. It was scary. You saw me.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
Yeah.
It was, that was crazy.
And so there must have been several different things, mechanisms that was operating at the same time, because I remember at one point in time, it was like, might have been your second surgery. You had kind of like ran out of time as far as PTOs in school.
Yeah. So I was pretty much just living off my savings.
Yeah.
Financially, it was a struggle, but I got through it. You know, I just made smart choices with my money.
Yeah.
So what happened was I started East Orange in 2007.
Okay.
And I must have started getting in 2009. You might have to bleep these names out.
Okay.
Doing all of them big companies, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started paying for disability insurance with them in 2009.
Okay.
Never needed it. Never used it.
Yeah.
Had the situation, what was that, 2003?
Okay.
Yeah, I had the surgery in 2003. While I was using my sick days and all the day, you know, using the days to still maintain my paycheck, I had applied to cash in on my disability, and they kept denying the claim. They kept it. I'm like, so I've been paying it to y'all for damn near 16 years.
Yeah.
And the one time I need you, I can't get it.
Yeah.
So that threw me for a loop. That was unexpected. I did not expect them to deny that claim.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still can't figure out why they denied it. I appealed it, they denied it again. So I just left them completely. But that right there, I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that at all financially. So
Yeah, I think that must be totally heartbreaking.
it was.
To know that you have the foresight to try to pay into something that can help you out in your time of need, and for them to deny that claim.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Kind of reminds me of what's going on now in California with the wildfires, how some of those insurance companies, they dropped those people. And so now their homes will not be paid for. They will not be reimbursed. And my heart definitely goes out to those people, because these big corporations, man, it's like what are they doing with all of those premiums?
Politics. It's tied into politics. They pay these politicians. They make big contributions to their campaigns.
Yeah.
And then when they get in offices, they allow them little loopholes.
Yeah.
You know, to create little loopholes like this, so
Yeah.
they don't have to help you.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
all
insane.
political.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just heartbreaking. And my heart
It
definitely
is.
goes out to those people. And it's like the rich get richer. You know, it's like even from a standpoint, and I'm, sidetracking a little bit, but it still kind of ties in with the insurance. And so I'm a CDL driver by day. That's my trade. But in my car, my personal car, I've been paying into insurance, no accidents. I'm paying my premiums every month. So what are they doing with those premiums? And then people who may want to make a claim because, they got into a fender bender on South Orange Ave over here, then they want to raise their premiums because they got into an accident. It's just like the insurance companies, they're so predatory. It's just
they're
just
doing
disgusting.
what they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
They doing what they're allowed to do.
Yeah, that is
There's like really no regulations. They're not regulated, so they pretty much make their own rules.
They make their own rules, and they don't have anyone to answer to, and it's just such a shame.
And that's because, like I said, they contribute. They contribute
to these big
campaigns, and this is what they get.
Yeah,
they get to fuck the people over.
Exactly.
For a couple million, because the little bit of money that they're giving to those campaigns are nothing compared to the money that they're taking from us.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's just insane. And so, I guess, how was, coming back to work? Once you got over your diagnosis with the treatment and everything, with those good doctors and everything, and the good Lord above, you stayed out of work for a little bit of time also. And so how was it when you actually did go back to work? How, was everyone being, super nice to you and welcoming? Or how was it?
Not really, because a lot of people didn't know exactly why I was out.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really broadcast it like that.
Yeah.
But when I came back, I didn't stay for long because I pretty much rushed myself back to work so I could start getting paid again, and just made myself sicker.
Yeah.
I went back out 2 more times. I had to go back to the hospital a few more times. So, that situation was crazy. And then, I have Crohn's disease. I've had that since I was 12. So a lot of people know about that. Yeah. So I think they might have thought that the two were related.
The abscesses must have been related to the Crohn's.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people, I think, just thought that was she's having another episode.
Yeah. And so what I do want to say is that, through all your efforts of trying to get back to work, doing the amazing job that you do with your children in your class and beyond, last year you were nominated for the 2024-2025 at your school Teacher of the Year Award. And through that, you were also entered into, I guess, the governor's state of New Jersey.
I had the option to apply to be considered for the county and then the state. Okay. Which I didn't do.
You didn't?
I did not do it.
Oh my goodness. This whole time I thought that you were going to be in a run, and I was going to tell everybody watching, yo, let's vote for my sis, Keisha Smith. Let's get her, you know what I mean?
That was it was a confidence thing.
Okay. But so.
Transparency.
Are the deadline passed? Can we still encourage you and get you to put that in?
Maybe, quite possibly. I don't know. Sometimes, I'm human.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm an overthinker, and I'm like, man, I'm just a little old me. And it's like all these seasoned teachers that have been doing what they've been doing for years and years. I'm like, I probably don't stand a chance against those people. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to accept that I got it for my school and my district.
Yeah. Well, I'm going on the record. My sister, she is the Teacher of the Year for the state of New Jersey. I don't care how many years y'all been teaching, what y'all even subject is. My sister, Keisha, the great Keisha, she is the Teacher of the Year. And so
in my school, y'all. I didn't win for Jersey yet.
She's the Jersey Teacher of the Year. I said it. So, yeah, I mean, we need to see if we can really rethink that, if we can get you to stake your claim for that, because I think that would be, something that can really be attainable for you to get.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me think about that some more.
Okay.
Let me continue to overthink that.
Okay.
Overthink.
And so, are you familiar with the terms of is it Title I, the schools? And so when I was younger, I remember the teachers they used to always be kind of like test based. And it was like, come on, we got to pass these tests or the state will take over. So in present day, is what the state taking over, is that kind of like in accordance with like what charter schools are, even though charter schools are not the state?
No, charter schools are a different
Yeah,
entity.
they're basically like self-owned, like, but
Yeah, they get a different type of funding.
they get different funding?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not a public school.
Yeah, they're not public
Public
schools. They're
schools-
privately owned.
Here are the things. So when it comes to Title I and funds for school testing,
Yeah.
testing determines the funding.
How much money they'll get. Yeah.
Testing determines it's systemic.
Yeah.
I feel like, and a lot of people feel, why should a district have to test their kids and the money that they receive is based on the success of the kids? I feel like it should just be even all around. Like, we shouldn't have to stress these kids out with testing just to get money.
But even if you think about that premise, if the students test low, we're going to deny you funding and give you less funding? That doesn't make sense.
It's not even that they're going to deny them funding. It sends them into like a certain status.
Okay.
Okay, and it just tells the state that these teachers aren't doing their jobs. These children aren't learning under this district.
Okay.
And so if the scores continue to decline and then there's no improvement, that's when the state comes in because they feel they can do a better job.
And so what does that look like? Because when I was in school, I always used to hear that. And so have you seen a district where the state actually comes in and take over?
Newark was taken over by the state for a few years.
Oh, yeah?
They just control how you teach, what you teach. They just, they just are in control of, it's just like the control that the Board of Education would normally have, they don't have it.
They take it away from them.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like when the state actually doesn't come and take over a district? Are things starting to raise after that, or?
So I've never dealt with that. I've never worked in a district where the state has taken over. I know in my district it has been threatened.
Yeah.
But from what I'm told is there's no leeway to do anything. It's their way or no way. Like they're pretty much running the show.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of, I guess, confused a little bit about, so when they kind of take over and they come with their own curriculum and things of that nature, but isn't your curriculum already kind of, I guess, given to you, kind of like outlined a little bit for you, or do you have free range to?
No, so usually a district's curriculum department chooses what books, on what materials you use to teach.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have any experience with the state coming in, so I can't really speak to that or what it looks like or how it happens and what they do. But I know it's something that districts don't want.
Districts don't want
They
that.
don't want that.
Yeah.
They don't want the states coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I always wondered that because it's something that stuck out in the back of my mind. Always when I was in school, I used to kind of hear that.
Yeah, if they come in, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah. And so with you being, this is your 4th year of having your own class. How are the TAs that you have, and how do they relate to you when you were a TA?
My TA is bomb, okay? That girl she's young, she's 26.
Okay.
She has a double major bachelor degree.
Oh, wow.
She just finished her master's degree at Rutgers in criminal justice.
Okay.
I'm praying she doesn't leave me, but I know it's coming.
Yeah, it's definitely, with all of those credentials.
To me, she's definitely lessening her standards working as a TA for me because she has so much potential.
Okay.
And
you
so
see the vision with all of those credentials. Do you suggest that a teacher coming out of school, do you suggest that they start with the lower levels, or is it just, I guess it's like preference type of thing?
It's preference. It's preference. Me, I'm glad I started with a lower level because when I was, we have a new principal, but the principal that I previously worked with, it was her intention to put me in 3rd grade. Third grade is a testing grade.
Okay.
And I'm a new teacher.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that would be a good fit for me, a brand new teacher.
Okay. Yeah.
Being put in a testing grade because it's held against the teacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I was like, when she told me that there was a pre-K available, I jumped on it.
Jumped on that. Yeah.
Not that I don't think I can teach third grade, but I just didn't think
you want to get your wits about you first.
Yeah,
you want
I
to
didn't
get
think
in
that
there.
as a first year teacher, that would be a smart move
And so
for me. Even though I did, I covered a leave of absence.
Okay.
In third grade.
Okay.
And I did okay with it.
Yeah.
But nah.
And so from your days, subbing and being a TA and the vision that you had for what you would do in your classroom and to now having actual time on task experience, what are some of the things that you have changed and some of the things that you may have thought were different as opposed to when you're now actually in that role as a teacher?
The workload.
So you didn't think it would be as strenuous as it is?
When you're, and I'm going to tell you, I've worked with some great teachers, but then I worked with some that were just lazy.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I never understood the workload. I was like, you know what? They don't do anything. We do all the work.
Yeah.
We do everything. No, we didn't do everything.
Exactly.
Lesson plans.
Okay.
Portfolios. Like there's so many little tedious
Behind
little
the
things that you
scenes.
have to do. They don't talk about that. The
Okay.
teachers don't talk about that with us because they didn't have to.
Okay.
But when I became my own teacher, I'm like, damn, they doing all of this lesson planning and SGOs and all kinds of things. Teaching is a lot of paperwork.
Teaching is definitely a lot of paperwork.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
Weekly lesson planning. SGOs is a student growth objective. That was something required about the state.
Okay.
It was it's like a system where you would kind of like make predictions
Okay.
as to the growth that your students are going to make. And you had to meet that goal or it will be held against you as a teacher.
Okay.
So the state has, NJEA has managed to have that paused right now.
Okay.
Only for teachers who have tenure though.
So you don't have that time in.
So I still have to do just GOs while all these other teachers get to lay back and just worry about, finishing up the school year.
Yeah.
So if my students don't meet the goal that I've set for them, well, me personally, it won't be held against me because they don't really hold it against you in preschool.
Okay.
Is once you get to first or second grade all the way up.
And so your goals that you do have set up for the children, do you have to fine tune and adjust those goals? Is it like, okay, I set the bar here, but then eventually
You can't change it though.
Oh, you can't change
You can adjust it a little bit,
Okay.
but there has to be some real growth
Okay.
shown. They have to make real progress. You can't set a low bar.
Yeah.
They won't allow that. You have to set the bar realistically.
Okay, realistic.
They want to see growth. You
Yeah.
can't say, okay, they're at a 1, they're going to grow to a 2.
Exactly.
Nah, they want a 1, you're going to grow to a 5.
And so it's based off of like reading level,
Reading, math.
principles.
Yeah, so you have to do 1 for ELA and 1 for math.
Okay.
So one of my, let me give you, for instance, for my kids. Say I have 10 kids.
Okay.
3 no letters A through C. 4 no letters C, A all the way to L.
Okay.
And then my high group knows letters maybe from A to Q.
Okay.
So my goal for my high group is to know all of the letters.
Yeah.
The goal for my middle group would be to get maybe up to the letter Q.
Okay.
And my students that only know A to C, my goal would be for them to get to A to maybe M.
Okay.
That's just, I want all my kids to learn all their letters. So that's not my
Exactly.
goal, but I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah, an example.
For math, group 1 can count to 1 to 10.
Yeah.
My goal for them would be 1 to 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Group B would be 1 to 8. Well, 1 to 5. My
Okay.
goal for them would be 1 to 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying low goals, but of course they're higher than that.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
giving you an
I
example.
pretty much get what you're speaking
But
on.
those are the types of goals that you set for SGOs.
Okay.
And the teachers had to do them. Some teachers, the upper grades, they had 26 kids.
And so,
in two different classes.
and I know that must be a lot
So
more
that's
difficult.
a lot of work.
But there is something that I do want to backtrack to. You started in 21, so that was in the midst of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that there's some residual effects to students being homeschooled and things of that nature. How challenging was that for you as a new teacher coming in, kind of doing screen teaching and things of that nature?
It was fun for me.
Oh yeah?
Because I had the little ones.
Okay.
And so, when I was covering that third grade teacher, it was screen teaching, but the parents were involved. I had a pretty good group of kids, not all of them.
Yeah.
But the parents, they wanted their kids in school.
Yeah.
They wanted their kids to be in school.
I can imagine.
And because they wanted them to be in school, they made sure that they logged on.
Yeah.
The background circumstances weren't perfect. Sometimes you heard music and all kinds of foolery. But for the most part, they made sure the kids logged in.
They was present.
I ain't going to tell you some of the stories. Now, I done seen boobs, behind, thongs, all kinds of crazy.
I've been on the internet and, y'all out there, y'all know what y'all been doing and what y'all been seeing. So I saw a couple of little things on the gram and them parents, they was
Yeah,
wild.
but I used to laugh like, I ain't never see that. Psh. Oh, I got the shock of my life. Me and a whole class full of 8-year-olds saw a lady running across the screen of her thongs.
Wow. But so when things kind of opened up and they lifted the mandates and everything like that and you were getting back into the classrooms, that must have been a joyous feeling for you also as well, right?
It made it easier. Teaching online was hard.
I can imagine. Because a kid, first of all, they can't even sit down for 5 minutes in one spot anyway and just looking at a screen unless it's skibbity bop or whatever it is that they be looking at, that stuff on YouTube.
And then I had some parents that weren't tech savvy.
Oh, okay.
So that was a difficulty right there.
Challenge,
I had a one example would be this grandmother. Her daughter worked during the day, so she was responsible for logging the kid in. She couldn't find the chat one day, and she did not. She is going ham on the mic.
Oh, she was cussing?
Because she didn't know how to mute it. She going ham on mic because she doesn't know how to mute the mic and she can't find the chat box for him to respond.
Exactly.
Listen,
wow.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I ain't mean to laugh, but I did.
know that was crazy. I mean, that had to be because, them grandmas, they got some choice cuss words. So I know that was very interesting.
Very interesting. So the other parents are like, can you just,
and
because
that's
you
what
can
I was
remove
about
her
to
from the
say.
class.
So were the other,
they're like, could you just remove her? Because I can mute her.
Oh, you could.
I can mute her, but she couldn't figure out how to mute, but she would unmute. She kept unmuting herself thinking that it was the chat.
Yeah.
So eventually somebody was like, can you just put her out the class, please? And so I had to put her out the class.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is when you would put the kids out of the classroom, they couldn't come back until the next day.
Yeah.
It would put them out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I didn't like to do that. So I kept trying to mute her. And then eventually the other parents just got fed up.
And so was she eventually, because that was one story, but was she ever eventually able to figure out how to get acclimated with the technology? No?
Nope.
Oh,
because the mother worked every day. So we just had to try to, all right.
Make do with what you can.
We just had to work with her.
Okay. And so I guess, as time starts to get away from us, is there anything that I didn't speak about that you may want to get out there or, something that you just may want to get off your chest or anything like that?
No. I think you hammered me enough with the questions. Anything else you want to know on a personal level?
I wasn't too evasive, was I? Because I was, I do have a box of tissues and everything. But
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I didn't,
surprised.
want to get too, evasive into you and stuff like that. So.
You could have, what I would have said, nope, don't want to answer that. No comment.
Yeah, and I also, I want you to, I want the world to know how great you are as a teacher and a sister to me. And so I'm glad that, you definitely came in and you were able to put yourself and be vulnerable and, just speak and just, have people looking at you because, when something goes on the internet, we have no control over it. It could get one view or, 1 million views and, people in the comments, they can say this and say that. And so I just appreciate you for having that vulnerability and that willingness to come and sit down and speak with all of us.
Let me just tell your viewers, I am speaking based on my own experiences. I'm not speaking as an educational professional. Okay, these are my experiences, my thoughts, and my feelings.
She is a professional.
She's
a professional.
I'm a professional, but I don't speak for all teachers. I just want to say that because I don't want them to be like, "Oh, that's not right." And no, she's not talking right. You know, and if I misspoke,
those are her experiences.
Forgive me and show me some grace.
Yeah, and so I really do appreciate you for coming out. It was a blast talking to you. You know, when we get on the phone, we could be on the phone forever, and so I really do appreciate you. This was fun.
So I was thinking back to when you first started, and you told me how you remember me, that I was hard on you, like giving you tough love or whatever.
Yeah.
And how that one incident when the cops were chasing you through the village, and then they threatened to take me down.
Yeah.
I remember telling you that if you're out here and you're hustling and you keep getting arrested, then it's not for you. Mm-hmm. You're not good at it, and it's time to let it go.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And it was a hard realization at that moment because that time they took me down and I wound up doing a couple of years. But every so often throughout the course of that sentence, those words replayed in my mind, and it definitely pulled me from out of a dark place. And so I always, I just want to thank you and give you your kudos.
You can't give me kudos. You made the change. Congratulations to you.
I definitely appreciate it, though. You helped me out. You helped me realize the obvious because I kept getting caught and... But you definitely helped me.
You gave it your best shot.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, I gave it my shot. You can't say that, I didn't try. I got out there and tried.
You gave it your best shot, bro, but it just wasn't good enough.
It just wasn't for me.
It just wasn't for you. And I like you. I like this better.
Yeah, I definitely.
I like the truck driver, the dad, the good brother, the good son.
Yeah.
I like this version of you much better.
That's a blessing. And so lastly, before we get out of here, do you have anything that you're working on that you may want to let the folks know?
Currently, about 4 classes away from earning my master's in inclusive education at Montclair University.
Okay.
Of course, like you said, I'm teacher of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to continue to do my thing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I definitely appreciate you for coming out. That is a blessing to have you here. I'll say it again. To be vulnerable and to speak on camera. We're not professionals. We just,
these are based on opinions.
Yeah, we just, we out here and, we trying to do something. We trying to provide, good content for you all. I hope you guys like it. You can like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Peace.
And if you want to hear more from me, just hit him up and he'll let me know.
All right.